This week, we have highlights from our women's volleyball team, men's lacrosse, hockey, and so much more. Stick around because the LTU Sports Report starts right now. Hello everyone, welcome to the LTU Sports Report. I'm your host Candace, and our show is presented to you by Lawrence Technological University and sponsored by Henry Ford Sports Medicine. Up first, we head over to the Legacy Center in Brighton, Michigan, where the softball team took on St. Xavier. The Blue Devils softball team took on St. Xavier in a doubleheader at the Legacy Center in Brighton, Michigan. LTU previously faced off against the Cougars of St. Xavier a couple of months earlier. Let's see how they did this time. Game 1, the Cougars jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the first inning and again scoring 3 later in the third, leaving LTU scoreless throughout the game. Game 2, Hyde got the bats going early for LTU, but the Blue Devils could not overcome St. Xavier, dropping this one 2-0. The softball team traveled to West Virginia on Sunday for a doubleheader against West Virginia Tech and picked up 2 big wins, 14-5 and 4-1. Esports is now a varsity sport at Lawrence Tech, and they recently held their very first virtual signing day with one of their incoming freshmen.
Austin, you want to tell me a little bit about yourself?
I go to school at Pioneer High School in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
So who do you have with you next to you?
On my left, I have my mom, Dion, and then on my right, I have my grandma, Dorothea.
So what did you think of Austin telling you that he was joining the esports team at Lawrence Tech?
Personally, was thinking that I guess all those hours of staying up late playing video games, was a good idea after all.
Tell me about your experience with esports and what made you want to join the esports team here at LTU.
So my experience with esports, I've always loved competing in esports. I've always played with my friends in various different games, from Fortnite to 2K to any type of tournaments. I love playing games in any sort of fashion. What led me to joining Lawrence Tech's esports team is I figured, why not? I love playing esports, and I see that Lawrence Tech is, it's their first year of having an esports team. So, I thought it wouldn't hurt. And next thing you know, I'm in a Zoom meeting getting interviewed, and now I'm on a Zoom meeting getting signed. So it all happened really fast, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity to.
What are you looking forward to most of all about joining a collegiate esports team?
What I'm really looking forward to is, developing my skills in all different sorts of games, having you as my coach, and also, just having, being able to meet my teammates and, get in the hours practicing with my teammates. I feel like playing esports, it's all about the chemistry with your teammates, and I'm excited to build some chemistry and get to work with my teammates.
We have 2 women's volleyball packages for you in the show. First, let's head over to the Don Riddler Fieldhouse as the Blue Devils took on Siena Heights.
The LTU women's volleyball team was back in the Don Riddler to take on the Saints of Siena Heights to battle for the WAC win in the first half of their seasons. Let's get started. In the first set, the Blue Devils would drop the set 26-24. A freshman highlight of the game is the hitter Riley O'Connell, who carded 10 kills on the night along with 7 aces. In the second set, both teams battle point by point, fighting hard offensively and defensively. Freshman Janice Arambaru sets up the sophomore Madeline Hudson for a kill. They go on to win 25-17. Moving into the third set, freshman setter Nicole Wan, who sets up the senior Jessica Lodge, who puts the ball away for her 12th kill on the night. The Blue Devils would go on to win this one 25-22. LTU heads into the fourth looking to close it out. But the Saints would not give up easily. Senior Isabella McDonald steps in and puts the ball down on the other side of the net, finishing the night with 10 kills overall. The Blue Devils would go on to win the game 4-1. This would bump them up to 4-7 in WAC play.
We've worked on staying calm a lot in practice because we usually get really frantic. So we just focus on staying calm, talking a lot to each other, knowing what's happening on the other side, and it helped a lot today.
I think we really focused on the basics today. We really focused on holding our ground and really reading what the other players were doing.
We've had really good practices this week, so just keeping that energy that we had on the court today in the gym the next week.
Now it's time for one of our favorite segments as we get to know a student athlete.
I'm Sydney Clark and I'm a junior. My favorite movie is Black Panther. I really like the storyline and the action and also how it ties into all the other Avenger movies. My favorite type of food is Italian food. I was raised basically eating pasta, so. My favorite vacation spot is Chicago. I love the big city. I like walking around and looking at all the tall buildings. My favorite singer is The Weeknd. I love listening to his music and how he hasn't made a bad song yet. Favorite show to watch is Money Heist on Netflix. Basically about a bunch of robbers going into the Royal Bank of Spain and robbing it.
The women's soccer team hosted Madonna University, and we've got the highlights.
The Lawrence Tech women's soccer team took the pitch this past Saturday to take on the Madonna Crusaders. LTU is looking to stay undefeated at Blue Devils Stadium, while on the other hand, the Crusaders were looking not only for their first win of the season, but also their first goal. And they would get their first tally just 7 minutes into the game, coming off the foot of Megan Vernon. Just over 3.5 minutes later, LTU would come right back as Jessie Koji gets awarded a free kick from way downtown. She capitalized on that opportunity for her 5th goal of the year. Score now knotted up at 1 apiece. The play flow after that point was all in Madonna's favor as Nicolette Voltaggio will break down the field with teammates finishing off the play, capturing the lead 2-1 heading into halftime. The second half would stay much the same as LTU would only be able to register 1 shot compared to the Crusaders' 8 in the final 45 minutes. With less than 10 minutes left, Mary Filomona would add the insurance marker for Madonna. Madonna would go on to win their first game of the season by a final score of 3-1.
Football and soccer were both on the road recently, so we pulled some of the stream highlights for a pair of recaps.
Football is back as the Lawrence Tech Blue Devils travel to Chicago, Illinois to take on the Cougars of St. Xavier University. After many delays, the Blue Devils are finally back in action. Over the last couple of seasons, LTU has struggled to score and stop elite teams. With a solid recruiting class coming in and an extended offseason, can the Blue Devils finally start putting the pieces together? Starting in the first quarter, the Cougars would strike first, but it would be the captain, Tyler Kolka, who dashes to the end zone for a 13-yard TD run. Lawrence Tech would tie this game up at 7. LTU would then trail 17-7 at the half. Coming back from the break, we'll jump to the middle of the third quarter, where the Blue Devils would have a chance to bring themselves within 3, but a missed field goal prevented that. On to the fourth, LTU down 4, and the Cougars would blow this game wide open, extending their lead to 18. But the Blue Devils would roar right back after Kolka launches a 22-yard bomb down the field for the speedster Matthew Ransom. However, the comeback would fall short. Lawrence Tech would go on to drop this one, 31-21, the final. Let's move on to men's soccer as the Blue Devils made a short drive to Adrian, Michigan to take on the Saints of Siena Heights. In their first game since the break, LTU comes into tonight's matchup with a 4-3 record. Can they pull out the win versus a winless Saints team? Not too much to say about the first half, so we'll jump to the second half. The intensity would heighten from there. Who would score first? The pressure is on, and a penalty kick by the Saints cracks this game open. Saints now up 1 late in the second half. The momentum would swing into the Saints' favor, and they would score again to put this game away. Lawrence Tech would go on to drop this one 2-0, the final score.
We're going to take a short break to hear from our sponsors, but we'll have more LTU highlights for you when we get back, so stay tuned.
If you're a high school athlete with the dream of playing college sports, Lawrence Technological University wants you to recruit yourself. LTU offers over 24 varsity sports for men and women, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports, including its newest additions, competitive cheer and dance, esports, women's hockey, and men's and women's track and field. Visit LTUathletics.com and recruit yourself. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Welcome back. As promised, we have highlights from our men's lacrosse team as they return to action after a long break. Fans are back as the Lawrence Tech men's lacrosse team travels just down the road to Detroit Country Day to take on the Eagles of Reinhardt in the first game of the season. Last season was cut short because of the pandemic. However, the Blue Devils were off to a hot 3-1 start. Can the newly looked Blue Devils look to start the season off with a win? This game would get away from the Blue Devils quickly as the Eagles would jump out to a 5-0 lead. LTU would get the last goal of the first quarter. Lawrence Tech would trail big, 9-3 at the half. Lawrence Tech just seemed a step behind Reinhardt in this game as the Eagles would start the third, scoring 5 straight points. This was just not the Blue Devils tonight, and Lawrence Tech would go on to drop this one 19-6 the final. The marching band here at LTU is growing, so we wanted to give you a glimpse of what being a member is like.
Hi, I'm Nick Gledkowski, and I'm the drum major of the LTU marching band, and I also play alto saxophone. I was drum major in my high school band, and it was just luck that LTU was also starting their band program for marching as soon as I was coming in for my freshman year. I think nonetheless I would have chosen LTU for my degree, which is audio engineering, but also having that choice to continue band was definitely a big factor in my decision. So for LTU, one of the big drawing points for me is once I came here and I did the exploration day and I learned about the major here, I found out that actually most of the audio classes take place at an off-site studio out in Plymouth. So we actually get to go to class each week and learn hands-on in a studio. So I really like that part of the program. It is a small campus, but even within all the dorms, it's very easy to become involved and meet new people. Everyone's very supportive of each other. Everyone's very close. If anyone's got a hardship going on, I mean, we're all there for each other. Directors, students, we're all close-knit, and it's like a family.
Hockey hit the ice over the weekend to take on Concordia. Let's see how they did.
The LTU men's Division I hockey team resumed their 2021 season after a shutdown. They went head-to-head against the Cardinals of Concordia. Will the Blue Devils be able to persevere after a 2.5-week break to come out on top? Let's get into the action. Early in the first, both teams fighting to put a point on the board. The sophomore, Eric Engdahl, would battle for the puck. It gets kicked out to Adam Rebecca and over to Sawinski, who puts it in front of the net, and it gets knocked in by Eric Engdahl, giving the Blue Devils their first point of the night.
Well, I was just trying to get the win with the boys. That's all I was doing. Every shift I got, I was just trying to make the best of it, because you never know right now with all this COVID stuff going on, like if it's going to be our last game or not. And that was our motto in the locker room, saying this could be our only one this year. So I just try to get all out there every shift I had. Just give my best.
Concordia would answer back in the first, making the score 1-1 all the way into the third period. And the battle would continue. Sophomore Patrick McGowan and junior Bryce Ebert do a little give and go and kick the puck out in front of the net, where Engdahl steps in and cards his second goal of the night.
Mindset is just get better every day and keep grinding and compete. And when we play our games, we're trying to compete against each other out there. We're trying to be who's going to be P1, who's going to be P2, and we're just trying to work hard pretty much. Just keep going. Play every game like it's our last, like I said before.
The Blue Devils would go on to win the game 2-1, bumping their record to 2-1 on the season. If you're looking for more LTU hockey, be sure to tune in to the game this Friday at 5:30 p.m.
The baseball team is another team whose season was cut short last year, so we were all excited to see them get back on the diamond this past weekend at the Corner Ballpark, which is the site of Old Tiger Stadium.
It's been about 51 weeks since last March when we were in Florida, where we got out to play some games outside and compete against another squad. So it was nice to get out. Great opportunity to come down here and play at the Corner Ballpark down here in Detroit. A cool vibe with the downtown setting, beautiful facility. Although most of the guys are a little young to remember Tiger Stadium, I know us as coaches, we're trying to pass along some of that info about the relevance of playing down here, and that it's a pretty special opportunity. Getting out and competing is a little bit different than inter-squadding every day, so it was nice to have the boys come out and work against Aquinas for 2 days. Yeah, the guys were really jacked up to get out and kind of see where they're at, measure what we've been working on through the fall, through the winter, kind of give us a gauge as to what we need to work on going forward, and knowing that it's a long season, but we got to get started sometime, and finally we got back out on the field. Well, we got a long weekend coming ahead, Thursday, Friday, and then doubleheaders on Saturday and Sunday with Siena Heights and Rochester. So another in-conference opponent in non-conference setting. So it gives us an opportunity again to see what we're going to be dealing with in conference. So hopefully we can come out and build off these 2 days and have a good showing on the weekend.
Now let's check out our second women's volleyball package as the squad hosted the Racers from the University of Northwestern Ohio.
Tech women's volleyball team looks to make it 2 in a row versus the Racers of UNOH. The first time these two teams met, the Blue Devils crushed the Racers in their only straight set sweep of the season. Aiming to better their WAC standings, can the Blue Devils string together their first winning streak on the season? Let's find out. Starting in the first set, both teams come out with force as they trade points back and forth. But it would be the 5'9" senior Jessica Lodge who helped the Blue Devils pull away with a 25-22 first set win. On to the second set, the Blue Devils would dominate the Racers, winning 25-12. Moving along to the third set, the Blue Devils would have all the momentum as they would quickly handle business, winning the third set 25-16. The Blue Devils looked like a veteran squad tonight as they would win this one in 3 sets.
My name's Harry Storch. I'm a shortstop and a pitcher as well. My favorite baseball player I have to say is Shane Victorino for the Phillies. I like him just because he's a shorter guy. I'm a shorter guy as well for baseball. It gives me a little bit of hope that I can make it to the bigs one day. My favorite TV show is The Office. It's a good show, I have to say. My favorite food, I have to say, would probably be Mexican food. Just a really big fan of burritos and tacos.
That's our show for this week. As always, be sure to follow us on social media and tune into our podcast, LTU Blue Devils in Depth, where you can hear more about being a student athlete here at LTU. I'm your host, Candace, and please join us next time on the LTU Sports Report.